Going from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2022. Psych! 2024. Yes, it was April Fool's yesterday. And just in case some of you have been fooled today also, let me remind you, it is no longer April's Fool's. It is the 2nd of April, 2022. And 2024. And we are in that where we celebrate, and there are so many festivities happening on the island of Tobago. We're going to do that on the show this morning. We want to know, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? How have you been spending your Easter vacation period? What activities have you been participating in? I am Adana Kambi, and this morning I will take you through our show this morning. But before we get into that, I'm going to hand you over right on to Biana with news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine expressed concerns over Tobago groups embarking on unfunded private trips, prompting online plea for assistance. He warned of tough THA decisions to halt this trend following the departure of the Jarrick Titans Football Club for the Manchester International Easter Cup. Jarrick Titans coach Brian Brown's appeal for donation highlighted their struggle with accommodation costs for over 100 children. Despite reports of THA support, no pending details from the tournament organizers. Augustine proposed a sensitization session on funding procedures. He acknowledged challenges by the Jarrick Titans supporting a trip postponement due to late funding requests. Augustine refrained from casting blame, attributing issues to potential poor planning or logistics. The Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company is all truckers and users of the Inter-Island Cargo Service, the MV Cabo Star, which will undergo statutory dry docking works from April 7th to April 25th, 2024. Normal operations are expected to resume on Friday, 26th, 2024. The Ministry of Youth Development aims to expand its 40 under 40 mentorship program to benefit 25 additional schools impacting youths nationwide. According to the ministry's website, the program connects with youths. According to the ministry's website, the program connects youths that accomplish professionals in various fields, fostering personal and professional growth to secure a brighter future. The ministry highlighted its collaborations with the Ministry of Education and emphasized the involvement of influencers from diverse sectors such as entrepreneurship, entertainment, agriculture, culture, fashion, and sports. Minister Foster Cummins expressed satisfaction with the program's continuation and positive evaluation results, with 97% of students rating their mentors high and 86% praising the program structure. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, there for bringing the news in 90 seconds. And you know, we're talking about, and I really would like to get as much information as I can. Or I personally, a little bit bothering, or bothersome rather, and I would really love to get as many details as I can about this. Biana, how was your Easter vacation? What did you do this Easter period? How was it for you?
It was really relaxing, Adana. I did not activity, but it was more one for me.
Likewise, you know, I didn't really go out much, but you know, I know there's so many things happening on the island, and I really took some time to spend with family and friends. I had some family coming in from the US, you know, just to spend time here, and that's what we did as well. I'm happy that you were able to have some relaxation. Yes, so I hope you do enjoy the rest of it. I know some there are short working hours today for some government offices. I don't know what it's like for everybody, but for those of you who have short hours today, go out there and enjoy the festivities on the island and participate. Thank you so much, Biana.
But one thing though, I am wondering, where is Miss Skeet this morning? Is it that the activities got the better of him?
Well, you and I both know that he is probably somewhere thinking about what am I doing today? Where am I firing in first today? Because we know he's very, very, he's very social. He's a very sociable person.
Yes.
And he's more than likely involved in all of the activities taking place on the island. So viewers, in case you're wondering, that's probably it. We don't know for certain, but that's
we should let
probably
him know that we miss him a lot this morning.
That's right. And we know if he was here, we would be talking about all these events this morning.
Yes,
so Julian, this one is for you. This one is for you. Enjoy it for all of us. Biana and I are relaxing, but you enjoy it for all of us. All right, viewers, we're always so happy to be coming to you every morning with information as it relates to things happening in and around the Tobago. As I mentioned earlier, there were so many activities. So all of these things happening on the island, and we do hope that you go out there and participate in the event safely. Remember to practice safety. Yes, practice safety in your going out as you enjoy the festivities. And for those of you who today, make sure and get out there, and just participate in some of the activities. This is the activities that are taking place in Tobago are really, really indigenous. No other country in the world, no other island who races goats and crabs and all the things that we do. So let's go out there and participate and support our culture. All right, we're heading on now into our birthday shout outs. And on screen and celebrating a birthday today is Ovid Simon. Ovid Simon is celebrating a birthday today, and we do want to wish you a very happy birthday. And I'm sure if Julian was here, he'd given you a long paragraph of celebrations today, but we just want to say happy birthday to you, and we're sending you our love to you from all of us here at the Tobago Updates Television. Next is our very own Judan Jofield. Belated birthday. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. I'm wondering if it was a joke, if it's a prank, but no, not at all. It's his actual birthday. It was yesterday, and we want to say happy belated birthday to our very own Judan Jofield. He's one of our members here at the Tobago Updates Television station, and we just want to say happy birthday to you, Judan, and we pray God's blessings upon your life as you continue to enjoy. Be safe out there, and remember to put God at the center of all things. Right, I just want to take some time out to say good morning to our viewers online and welcome. To leave a comment to let us know how you spent or how you're spending your Easter vacation. What have you done? What activities you're participating in? What you're looking forward to the most? And just let us know how it has been for you. We really want to know. We love to hear from you, and we love your support at all times. So we say, we just want to hear from you, and thank you so much for always choosing us. You might be wondering, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio? Well, we start off our conversation this morning with Rodil Kirk, Superintendent of TTPS, and we're talking about, of course, our weekly crime update from the TTPS and public safety during the Easter festival. Yes, you have to remember to practice safety, so we're going to speak about that. We also speak with Ria Paria, Chairman of Autism Tobago, as well as Valine Salino Kanan, Vice Chairman of Autism Tobago. Are we talking about World Autism Day 2024? Yes, that is a thing, and we're going to get some information on that. The education where these things are concerned is so very important, so we hope that you stay tuned for that conversation. And then we end things with Phillips. He's a musical director of Team Exalted Tobago, and Phyllis Duke, Public Relations Officer for the same team. We're talking about 7 times 7. And if you know anything at all about, know exactly where 70 times 7 comes from. It's a drama production, and we're hoping that you can stay with us as we have that conversation and we bring the information to you as it relates to those things. This is what our conversation is going to look like this morning on the morning show. We're so happy that you're here with us, and we do hope that you stay right throughout the end. But before we begin these conversations, of course, we have to go for a short break. And as we go for this break, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Scrub Tide brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing no side effects, no. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, but breast dip weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624. Follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
We all want to live in a society where there's respect for the rule of law, public service efficiency, and high productivity. We each have a responsibility to help shape our constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, supporting good governance. I'm Nigel Edwards, and I urge you to submit views for constitutional reform by April 15th to constitutionalreform2024.gov.tt. It's your future, your constitution, your voice.
It's March Madness at Standard Distributors Limited. Get $100 back for every $1,000 you spend. Major appliance deals on Frigidaire, Hyacinth, Samsung, and more. Plus, same-day financing options available. Don't miss out. Sale ends March 31st. Standard, never beaten on quality and prices.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Store Bay Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-413.
Deltec Distributors, best deal. 3 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 3 pounds each, $300. Best deal. Or you could try 5 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 5 pounds each, $500. Best deal. $20 delivery. Call me now. 359-5040 or 237-0102. Order online at www.deltecdistributors.com or check with us. Mainwood, Argyle, Tobago. Deltec Distributors, best deal.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and provides free for life sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face. Moving place. Good morning. Good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Well, with us, we're so happy that you can join to hold a show. We kickstart our conversations this morning with Rodil Kirk, and he's superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And this morning we're talking about our youth week crime update, and we also safety for the Easter festivities. Good morning, superintendent, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning to your viewers.
It's always a pleasure having you in studio and having conversations with you. You know, you're a pleasant guy, and having conversations is so good. So I just want to commend you on that. How has it been? You know, how has it been for the past week in Tobago? What has been happening as it relates to crime? Have we apprehended for crimes that took place before? What is going on?
Well, see, it's been one that are filled with activities. We have a number of events that took place. The main ones being over the Sunday, Monday, and today being the last leg of the Easter celebrations. And you know, as Easter Tuesday in Tobago is declared as an official holiday, so we know that, you know, people will be attending a lot of the activities scheduled for today. Over the week, what we had is we have increased our visibility on the nation's roads. We had our support from Port of Spain, Garden Emergency Branch. In addition, we had collaborations with the TTDF and, their personnel. And what you have seen, we had a lot of anti-crime initiatives over the last week. Yes, we had persons arrested. That most of them were on outstanding warrants that we had. And some of them were, as the offenses committed whilst the police were on the operations. What we continue to observe is that persons are flouting the traffic regulations. I mean, yesterday alone, I had to pull over a lot of drivers coming up on the Claude Noel Highway in terms of the excessive speed, and not in addition to improper and dangerous overtaking. And this is something that we continue to urge people. We don't want any more fatalities for the year in Tobago. So I continue to encourage drivers to comply with the traffic regulations. We are going to continue being out there today. We have already put measures in place to deal with the crowds and the activities around Buku today. So if you're a bit inconvenienced on the roadway, it's just that we are trying to make the space safe for you.
And something, we talk about, I don't know how many other times we used to speak to users. You're speaking about speeding and dangerous overtaking, but I also have experiences with people driving too slow on the highway. And it's like they're driving and it's unstable driving, and sometimes it's very concerning, and that too can lead to accidents on the roadways as well.
Of course, while that may be so, I mean, there are different speed limits on the highway. Some areas are 50, some areas are 80 kilometers. You may find people going under the speed limit as well. But the thing is exercise caution. You need to overtake when it's safe to do so. Not because somebody is going a bit slow. It means that, you could just cut through traffic as you need. Still observe. Sometimes it may be for many different reasons, because you realize we have our elderly drivers, we have persons who may be disabled. We have all of that on the roadway. And some people just definitely don't have roadworthy vehicles. So these are some of the considerations that you must put in place. You must take into, whilst using the road. So sometimes on the roadway, we have to exercise that patience sometimes, because not all individuals may be up to your level when you're driving as well,
That's right. And that's a good point there, having to exercise and tolerance while using the nation's road. So we're talking now about, are you finished with the updates? Is that all that we have?
Well, major to report, thanks to the Tobago public and those of our visitors. Your behavior is commendable, and I want to continue to commend you for the way in which you acted throughout all these activities, because we see a number of people, and yet we have incidents or to report to the public,
We get in there, and I'm very proud, and I'm very happy to hear that report is that way,
But if I must say, there is something that I experienced last night that I think that I should speak about. I actually was traversing the street of Canby number 1 last night around 8. And I felt an impact on the side of the vehicle. And when I stopped, actually, there were some young guys on the side of the road. Actually, and when I looked, actually they struck the unmarked police vehicle with a number of rotted eggs. And you know what hurt me? Is when I stopped, there were a few adults in the mix, and watching those juveniles behaving like that, it hurt me a lot. But what I want to do, I want to thank the members of the public who came out and intervened and dealt with it on a level, because it could have been otherwise. So, the persons in Canby number 1, those young people lying on the roadside, at nights, teenagers, ask the parents to intervene and try to speak with them, because it could have been somebody else, who reacted a different way.
That's right.
So, I'm happy that the persons who came out, your apologies are accepted, but I wish this is something that never happens again, because it will be treated with differently.
That's right. As you rightfully said, it could have been somebody else driving that vehicle. Additionally, I mean, young people, they mischievous, they get up to all sorts of stuff, but an adult being in their midst while this is taking place and not correcting them and somebody else having to come is, you know, we want to do a little bit better in our communities. We speak so much about supporting our young people and being good examples for them. So let us show them the right way. And I want to join with Superintendent to say person intervene in that situation, because it could have gone awry. All right, so tell us now, we're talking about safety for this Easter period. I know we're coming almost to the end of it. When we're talking about exercising safety and being sure that we keep ourselves, you know, in a kind of safe environment and a safe space when we go out there, or even when we leave, things we speak about often the show, but we still have to reiterate and we have to emphasize the importance for safe practices.
Right. Although we as the police have a duty to protect and serve our citizens and members of our communities, which we will be engaging in continuously over this period, we are urging people that you have to assist us as well in terms of you taking the responsibility for your own safety. So what we urge you that when you leave home, make sure that your property is properly secured. That's one. Make sure that your children, I continuously say this on this air, make sure that your children have an appropriate adult for their care whilst you're out having a good time. Make sure that you try to leave the large sums of cash, properly secured, and don't walk with that in going out, because, you know, you can be a potential target. Try and stay with your group. If you know you're going to these areas and, you know, to Lime and so on, try and stay with persons who you can rely on just in case something should occur. Also have that person who you can call for assistance in the event. These are something, and get the number close by to where you are going so that you can, you know, in case of anything, you can call. Because we recognize that a lot of people go in these places and they drink to us drunken stupor, and at the end of the day, they leave themselves vulnerable. We have seen it over the past couple of days, thankfully. You know, nothing, it was, you know, intervention happened before persons, you know, end up to that stage. But you see, when you get yourself to that, you strain the resources of somebody else to take care of you. So we are trying to urge you as much as possible when you go out, make sure, and even where you park, make sure that you look at your environment and, you know, park in areas designated. Make sure that, you know, you have easy access to where your motor vehicle is. Because, you know, again, you can be a potential target, notwithstanding that nothing has happened so far. We urge you, you know, to continue to take that personal responsibility for your safety to ensure that you don't become a statistic or a victim.
That's right, because although we want to encourage everyone to be well behaved and not to try to poach anything off of anybody, do not steal, do not interfere with people, we still have a personal responsibility, because there are people out there who are just mischievous and who are just looking for the opportunity to, you know, to engage in those types of activities. So of course, the responsibility, you have a personal responsibility to take care of yourself, your home, your property, and persons who are going out with children. Let's talk about persons who are taking children to the events, to the sports, and, you know, the events that take place down there at Buku.
All right. So today again, what I've noticed in the past is that even the after event, after the goat race and crab races, a couple of years ago, we noticed that underage children were left to wander the area, and you see some of them even using alcohol and so on. So again, we urge parents that when you have minors outside, make sure you have a system in place for support in terms of how you handle them whilst you're out. Don't leave your children unattended for you to just go and have a good time. If they are with you, make sure that you have a duty of care to your child safety. Make sure that you have that, you know, that eye on. What we know, we as the police, we will be there in our numbers, and we will look for all these things, and we'll bring it to your attention as the day go along. But again, do not drop the ball, and we are asking that you do that when you go out with your children. They are of paramount importance in terms of their safety, and you must ensure that you do all within your power to protect your child whilst you're out in these large crowds.
Of course. Thank you so much, Superintendent Kirk. Of course, as I said, it's a personal responsibility when you're going out there to ensure that your property is safe. And of course, those children, when we take them out, thank you so much for bringing that point to us, because sometimes we go out there and we just leave them to wander and we say, well, meet us back here in 2 minutes, meet us back here in 5 minutes, when in truth and in fact, we are just, not taking as much care as we should when we are out there. So please pay attention when you're taking the children out, even if they are meeting with their group of friends, ensure you know where the group of friends are hanging out and give them a time to check you back, or you go and check on them at intervals. Maintain safety. In closing, is there anything you want to share with our public or remind us of?
I just want to also just send a message out to the food vendors who may be in the area. I just want you to know that you need to comply with the public health regulations. We know that some years ago, the public health team would have been on the ground and they would have confiscated some food items and so on. So make sure that you are in compliance this time going around. We don't want to have any embarrassment going forward. I also want to urge the public to continue to do what you do in terms of being well behaved throughout these festivities. We are at the end of the line. Today is Tuesday. I want on Wednesday morning that I have good things to report to the Tobago public and to the nation at large. So again, want to wish everybody a happy Easter and continue to be safe and continue to work along us. We are there to protect and serve you. And, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much there, Superintendent Kirk, bringing us the updates as it relates to crime on the island, reporting that we have been doing good and encouraging us to keep on doing good and to implement those safety measures as we participate in the events and festivities around the Easter period. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guest. And of course, before we go, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Fellow citizens, I am Joy Abdul Mohan. Many years ago, we declared through our constitution our desire to live in a democratic society with respect for the law, supported by public institutions that respond to our needs. A strong constitution must be relevant to every citizen, including children and the youth. We've heard about reform before. Let us speak out now and make it happen by submitting our views to constitutionalreform2024.gov.tt by April 15th. It's our future, our constitution, our voices.
Stop your bull, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, hi. If I will look back at the worldwide movements from Marcus Garvey to McCandle Dagger, and we can see that the youth have the power to make a society. But today, like there is no trust in our ideas and vision for a better Trinidad and Tobago. As a youth, me can say, our voices must be valued, included and placed in at the forefront in decision making. So reform our constitution to build a stronger Trinidad and Tobago for you and me. Jag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
Yo everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Tobago Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee as we are matching or beating any quotations.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It's now 7:37 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 a.m. and I urge you to get there on time because I do know that you're going to leave before 4 p.m. You have just about 23 minutes to get there. Of course, you're not dropping the kids off to school today, so there is no excuse for you to be late. Before we start our conversation with our next guest in studio, I just want to say congratulations. Of course, we know the Carifta Games are taking place there in Grenada. And I want to say many, many congrats to our very own Tobagonian, Janae Gans. She won the Austin Seeley Trophy. Yes, she won that trophy for being the most outstanding performer at the games, coming from right here Tobago. And we just want to say congratulations to Janae, congratulations to her team, her parents, all her supporters, and everyone who got her there on that stage. Tobago is proud. Of course, every time we have an opportunity to congratulate one of our very own, we do so with pride. So many congratulations to you, Janae. And of course, you'll be hearing more about this at our sports update on Friday. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio with our guest. We'll be speaking with Ms. Ria Paria, and she is the president of, the chairman rather, of Autism Tobago, and Mrs. Valine Salino Kane, vice chairman of Autism Tobago. We're talking about Autism Day 2024. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
Right. And you know, sometimes we hear the word autism, and I'm so happy that now people are getting to understand what autism is, and the education is now starting to come out there, so people are understanding a little bit more about autism. And I know for certain, Ria, that you are a strong advocate for this particular situation, and I would like for our public to know a little bit more about autism so that we can have an appreciation and we can treat people who are living with autism and persons who are living with persons who have autism in a more friendly and acceptable way.
Yes, thank you so much, and good morning again. Good morning, Tobago. Today is World Autism Awareness Day, and I was just sharing with Valley earlier. I'm bringing up my son, Aidan Parrier, on my status today.
Yes.
Right, today is the day we celebrate World Autism Awareness Day. It's April 2nd. It's a UN, sanctioned day all over the world. People light it up blue. They do all sorts of things to bring awareness for autism. Autism is a neurological disorder. It means it affects the brain, so you don't see anything physical on the person that will say, okay, well, this person has a disability. They look quite normal, and the different challenges that they do face in terms of socializing and learning and communicating, that is a that are the main challenges that they do face at times. The challenges that persons with the younger ones, even who are hyperactive and so on, they go to the supermarket, you might see a child, agitated in the movies or agitated at church, it's too loud, because my son couldn't handle church. It was always too loud for him. He used to keep the periphery safe and walk around the outside because of the noises and their sensory challenges. So sometimes just edifying yourself about what are some of these sensory issues that they may face, a tag on a t-shirt, shoes, different things that, that will make them agitated, that you're wondering, well, what's wrong with that? Why they can't handle that? Sometimes a light might be too bright, a fan might be too loud, so just having your senses aware that their senses are heightened and things that mightn't bother us might be bothering them. So as a customer service provider or someone in the airport, or policeman or security officer, just edifying yourself about what the chance that they do face, that they'll be able to treat them with more compassion, a little more understanding, and some patience.
That's right. That's right.
And to be clear, keep it simple, explain, not too much words, just keep it simple so they will understand what you're saying to help them out.
That's right. And sometimes culturally, people from where we are, when we see children responding or reacting in a certain way due to some of the challenges you mentioned, like a a task, something as simple as a tag on a t-shirt could be affecting a child and they will act out because, I mean, that's the way they communicate. We might think that the child is rude or the child isn't trained properly. And these are the things that we've been living with for so long. And I've seen children suffering at the hands of people who do not have the education. And so now we have the opportunity to educate people about it. And I welcome the opportunity because I believe that they are normal people. You know, they just have challenges. I have challenges. You have challenges. It might not be their challenges, and we all want to live comfortably and show that measure of compassion, as you mentioned, about autism. So what is happening for Autism Celebration in Tobago?
Right. So we are kicking off today with our opening ceremony on the mall at 4 p.m. at the Lowlands Mall. We are opening our informational kiosk that will be on the mall for the entire month of April. So we're encouraging everybody to come by, pop in this afternoon, wear a little blue, and come through. Didn't mean to rhyme. On the 6th of April, Saturday 6th at 3 p.m., we have our Drive Blue motorcade, where we'll be again starting at the Lowlands Mall and ending at Adventure Play Park in Plymouth. We decorate our cars and bring everybody out to enjoy with us, and we'll be edifying the public on the route to Adventure Play Park. On the 25th of April, we have our walk in the East at Roxborough. So we'll be starting at Ebenezer at 10 a.m. and ending at the Sid Gray Complex in Roxborough. And on the 27th, we will be having our grand closing fair at 1 p.m. at the Buku Integrated Facility, our Autism Awareness Fair. We encourage everybody, bring your family, come out and just enjoy, indulge, and get all the information that is there for you.
So the booth that is set up at the mall, you said from today, and you said it's going to be there for the entire month.
Yeah.
What are the hours that people can go to get the information?
As long as the mall is open,
mall hours.
So there'll be brochures laid out, there'll be posters for you to read.
And to also receive and collect.
Yes.
Okay.
So there'll be varying times that persons will be there depending on the day that you could pop by and actually converse with us and get information.
Okay, that's absolutely awesome. I know viewers, you know, sometimes we have sort of interactions with persons who have challenges, and I really, really want to reiterate this point that you should go out there to the mall, get the information, because different challenges, different persons have different types of challenges, and we've spoken about just recently, we celebrated Down syndrome. They have different challenges. Autistic persons have different challenges. So as much information as we can get out there is absolutely welcomed. I would love to see the engagement that drive through and taking them to the park. You know, if you have your children, you know, we could take them there as well, and let's interact with them and have fun with them and engage with them and learn something, not just from on the brochure, but physical interaction with them as well. I believe will assist in a better understanding of the, you know, the situation that they are dealing with. And I'm telling you, I know quite a few autistic children. Rather, actually, I have some in my family. I have a very close friend who also has a child with autism, and they are the sweetest children ever.
And if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because they're all so different.
All different. That's right. That's right. You're quite correct. They actually are all different. You're talking about the tag on the t-shirt. I know somebody who just the whole t-shirt. Just take off the whole t-shirt, you know. And sometimes we find that is so reckless, but it isn't. That's just what makes them comfortable.
That's right.
I just don't want these t-shirts.
Yes, you know, and there was a time when my son was younger. Well, he's 16 now, but when he was about 2 or 3, he never kept his shoes on. And at that time, I didn't know what was happening with him. I was like, I'll put on the shoes, but when I get to the car, I can't find the shoes. And I just realized, that's the sock, the rib. He didn't like that, you know, restriction across his toes there. And it's like, okay, he always want to be bare feet. You know, but it took him a long time to get to that. And sometimes, you know, you think you want to cure the person. You know, you just want to get them to be able to manage whatever their challenge is. Now he wears his shoes, he wears his sneakers now, or he does this now, he didn't do before. So I want to even encourage children, parents who have the younger ones, the 4 and the 5 and the newly diagnosed ones, that it's a journey. You know, sometimes I couldn't see Aiden at 16. Or, you know, Janice is 4.
He's 4.
Janice is 4. You know, as like, you know, there's hope. Just keep trying. It didn't work this try something else, just keep prodding along and be encouraged to be, the best that you can be for them, and don't take it as an insult to your parenting skill, because sometimes people think they see the child lash out and the parent is not a good parent.
Right.
But keep prodding along and doing what you have to do.
And how do you, I know sometimes you can look for the signs, because one of my friends, when she started to compare children, like at what age would they start talking and stuff like that. When you identify these milestones are not met, how do you get an assessment or a diagnosis? Where do you go to get this done? In Tobago, that is.
Okay, all right. Well, in terms of their milestones, first I'll touch on that as well. They may physically develop well. So you might notice certain things, but if you do have that feeling on the inside that something is wrong, you should get the diagnosis. There is the Child and Adolescent Center up at the Old Fort. There, they do diagnoses. There's the developmental clinic at the hospital. If you have a private pediatrician, and again, you have your issues, you have your questions, they can also refer you to any of these places. If the child is in the school system, the teachers can refer them to the student support services, so they can have an assessment done for their different learning. And there are also private persons who will do these assessments as well. But it's just, don't stop, seek it out, because it's this. I mean, at the beginning, I had to go to Trinidad to find someone. Now they have things here, but we are encouraging people to study these things. Students in school study these things. We need people who are qualified and able to do and have a part for children with disabilities.
Yes, so that's a plea and encouragement there. If you're looking for a career path,
that's right.
This is as good as any, and possibly better than many, because you're going to be helping not just one or two persons, you're going to be helping a whole community of people with these skills. I want to say thank you so much, ladies, for coming on this morning. Congratulations on this booth that is going to be there, because I believe strongly in education. I believe once you have the knowledge, then you are able to treat with the situation better. So I want to encourage you, our viewers, to go out there and engage with the material, engage with the persons who will be there, ask the questions, the burning questions that you have to ask, just to get the information, and also take your kids out at the play park on the 6th, it is.
Yes.
They're in Plymouth for them to have fun and engage with our autistic children here in Tobago. I love them so much. This is my personal feeling where this is concerned. I do love them so much. So thank you so much for coming on, and all the very best, and happy Autism Awareness Day to all of us globally, especially persons who are living with this challenge and living with persons who are living with this challenge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we wrap this conversation this morning, but we continue later on with our next guest. And well, of course, we want you to stay with us while we do this. And before we go, can I invite you, ladies, to help me to tell the audience to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
It's March Madness at Standard Distributors Limited. Get $100 back for every $1,000 you spend. Major appliance deals on Frigidaire, Hyacinth, Samsung, and more. Plus, same-day financing options available. Don't miss out. Sale ends March 31st. Standard, never beaten on quality and prices. Deltec Distributors, best deal. 3 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 3 pounds each, $300. Best deal. Or you could try 5 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 5 pounds each, $500. Best deal. $20 delivery. Call me now. 359-5040 or 237-0102. Order online at www.deltecdistributors.com or check with us, Mainwood, Argyle, Tobago. Deltec Distributors, best deal.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and we continue conversation this morning in studio with our guests. We're speaking with Mr. Len Phillips and Miss Phyllis Duke. Mr. Phillips is the musical director of Team Exalted, and Miss Phyllis Duke is the PRO of Team Exalted, and we're talking about 70 times 7. And if you know anything about the Bible, you know that's exactly where this came from. And so we're talking about a drama production with this title. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. A pleasant good morning to you.
Right. It's nice to have you here this morning. And of course, we're talking about something biblical, taken there from, if I'm not mistaken, Matthew chapter 18.
Yes.
And somewhere around 22. There we go, 22. We're talking about forgiving. This is about forgiveness.
That's right.
Not just 7 times, but 70 times 7.
Which is 490.
That's right. And can you count it?
Which does not mean 490. But it's like turning a corner.
That's right.
You're driving your car and you're going and you have a corner to go around. You can't turn halfway. So you have to keep going. So that means you keep forgiving and forgiving.
That's right.
Forgiving.
But even though, can you count to 490? Can you remember what number you got to after you forgiven?
Some people wicked enough to do that.
Let's hope not. So let's get into it. We're talking about, it's a drama production with this title. Tell us a little bit about it and what's happening, when it's happening, and how we can get there.
We understand.
Doesn't matter either one.
Okay, this drama production is scheduled for the 27th of April at 7:30 at the Scarborough Library. Right? We have a drama group with Miss Leslie Ann Ellis, Anton Roberts, Kendra Murray, and Mona George, those are the main actors. And then the Team Exalted, we have the Alexis sisters, Len Phillips, Kenda Brooms, and of course, Team Exalted team.
Ayana Benjamin Charles.
And Ayana Benjamin Charles.
Right, and of course, as we said, it's 70 times 7. So we're talking about what are the main things we can look forward to through this drama production.
Okay, well, we talk about 70 times 7 as recorded in the Bible, and the story is that you shouldn't just forgive somebody once, but you can continually forgive them for things that they might do or say. And we thought that having this production in this way would send a message, not only to those persons who are stuck with not being able to forgive and move on, but also for persons who might be aspiring to understand what forgiveness really means. I know that the production is going to be very exciting because we have that exciting cast, and everybody should know that Leslie Ann Ellis she's a kind of a star within her own rights. The production is going to be actually directed by her. The script was kind of written by me. And of course, we're going to be having the launch of our group as well.
This is Team Exalted.
Team Exalted Tobago.
Right. And tell me, the Team Exalted is a group of what type of people, and how did you come together?
Well, Team Exalted, we started in April last year. The story is a strange one. Out of my voice cultivation class, there are 2 persons that are in the group. And we always, Jeffrey Lewis is my assistant, we always had that dream over the years of having this mass choir, this big group, where people could just sing positive songs. I wouldn't say gospel, positive songs, right? Because sometimes, we get mixed up with the gospel as well. Eh? And basically, we decided to give it a try. And we have come together, and so far, so good. So we have done 1 recording already. Unfortunately, I forgot to walk with the track. We did one recording at Wilson's Music Center, which is called Hallelujah. And we were in the process of doing some other recordings, but something happened and it slowed us down. Mr. Wilson got sick and we had to slow down for a little time. But Team Exalted Tobago, we just want to just sing, just spread the message wherever we go, and we hope that people will be a part of the process of change that could happen.
That's
because,
right.
Everybody needs to be aware that we are in a crime zone, in a dangerous time, and we could only make those contributions that could affect a positive change.
That's right, that's right.
So each of us in our space could do a little thing, whether it's the autistic people, whether it's the whatever organization, we need to have on our agenda some program that could speak to people and speak
Uplift
to the
them.
behavior
That's right.
that we have, human and social behavior. And
That's
a matter of fact, our vision statement is to use music and lyrics to positively enhance human and social behavior.
That's a very, very, very good mission statement, because we are living in difficult times, and so we always want to shed some light. We always want to be uplifting, and we always want to encourage people to do good and to be good. And this is taking place on Saturday, the 27th of April, right, at 7:30 p.m. How do people get tickets?
Okay, well, tickets are not at points of sale.
Okay.
The library can accommodate 186 persons. Our tickets are going to be printed this week, but they have already been been going so fast. Because what we have done is to put some on the flyer. We have the numbers that you can call and book your tickets, and persons have been doing that.
Okay.
Right? So you book your ticket, you call and you book your ticket, and we are going to have your ticket delivered to you. And for those persons who will not be able to come to the library on the 27th, we are making a desperate effort to
the 1st of June, we're supposed to have a repeat at the Shaw Park complex on a bigger scale, right?
So accommodate more persons.
Right. So person who cannot make it on the 27th of April, look forward for June the 1st.
Not just that they can't make it, they wouldn't be able to.
Right.
Because you can't be able, you wouldn't. So those persons who want to come, please rush, because we have a few tickets still remaining. Well, not tickets remaining, we have a few spots remaining, because we are in the process of printing the tickets this week.
And the numbers to call are 348, if you look at the flyer, 348-7879. And give me the other numbers.
620-8827. 208-266 385-1407.
And of course, 268-7456.
Right, that's right.
I try to leave my number out, but a lot of people just, conversion on me because they know me, right? So my list is very high in terms of the amount of people booking tickets already.
So the 620-8827, that's my number, so they could contact me.
Right, awesome. So you hear there, ladies and gentlemen, it's a special arrangement. So you call these numbers, book your tickets for the opportunity to be there. And just in case you miss or are unable to attend this time, look out for it again in June. But this one is taking place there on the 27th of April from 7:30 p.m. at the Scarborough Library. All right, we thank you so much for coming this morning and for bringing that information. And we do wish you the very best in all your endeavors in this project and also in all your future endeavors as you try to spread positivity across the island of Tobago and of course the globe by extension. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show, but this is not where we end our programming. Oh no, we head on over to Tobago Notes and then we go on over to GMT with Candice Jackson. So we invite you to stay with us, and while you stay with us, of course, we ask you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.
I am truly honored and so very pleased to be here in Tobago. This office here in Tobago marks a momentous milestone in the ongoing efforts of the Procurement Board, the management and the staff of the OPR to ensure that we fulfill the tremendous responsibility that has been entrusted to us, that of ensuring the integrity of public procurement activities and ultimately securing the public interests.
To better serve the island of Tobago, an Office of Procurement Regulation is here, up and running. One might ask, what's the importance of having this office? Having a well-regulated procurement system helps to promote fair competition among suppliers and contractors.
And what this building will represent for us in Tobago will be essentially a facility where central government services that ought to be delivered or performed in Tobago are housed under one roof so that Tobagonians will have easier access to these services.
In the ensuing months, technical teams from Port of Spain will be assigned on a periodic basis to support the operations of the Tobago office in the execution of a planned program of capacity building and technical assistance activities. So I would urge all the divisions of the THE to grasp these opportunities.
The OPR office is located in Crown Point at the Coliseum building.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000
Good morning, Tobago. On Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson. And let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine expressed concern over Tobago groups embarking on unfunded private trips, prompting online pleas for assistance. He warned of tough THA decisions to halt this trend following the departure of Jarek Titans Football Club for the Manchester International Easter Cup. Jarek Titans coach Brian Baum's appeal for donations highlighted their struggle with accommodation costs for over 100 children. Despite reports of THA support, no commitment had been made pending details from tournament organizers. Augustine proposed a sensitization session on funding procedures. He acknowledged challenges faced by the Jarek Titans, suggesting a trip postponement due to late funding requests. Augustine refrained from casting blame, attributing issues to potential poor planning or logistics. Up next, the Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company Limited is informing all truckers and users of the Inter-Island Cargo Service that the MV Cargo Star will undergo statutory dry docking works from April 7th to April 25th, 2024. Normal operations are expected to resume on Friday, April 26, 2024. And finally, the Ministry of Youth Development aims to expand its 40 under 40 mentorship program to benefit 25 additional schools this year, further impacting youths nationwide. According to the ministry's website, the program connects youth with accomplished professionals in various fields, fostering personal and professional growth to secure a brighter future. The ministry highlighted its collaboration with the Ministry of Education and emphasized the involvement of influencers from diverse sectors such as entrepreneurship, entertainment, agriculture, culture, fashion, and sport. Minister Foster Cummings expressed satisfaction with the program's continuation and positive evaluation results, with 97% of students rating their mentors highly and 86% praising the program structure. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, yes, it's Easter Tuesday in Tobago, the unofficial Tobago holiday of the year. And of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Buku goat and crab races that are expected to take place later on today. So joining me on set, is the Assemblyman and the area representative for Buku Mount Pleasant, and that is Mr. Sonny Craig. So special good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Craig. How are you doing, and happy Easter?
Pleasant good morning. Happy Easter to you. I'm doing excellent. I'm just a bit hungry, but I'll work on that.
I am pretty sure later today you will have your fill of food, some good food, because of course it's also Buku harvest today.
Yes. Well, yes, the day looks promising. One must admit that the weather is trying to make a statement, but I think I have this confidence. I'm praying for a sunny day today, and I think that's just how the day will pan out. It will be a sunny day today. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Craig. So, what's in place though, if there is going to be a lot of rain? Is there anything in place to make sure that the events still go off?
You're challenging my faith. I prayed for sunshine. I've never seen a rainy goat race, actually. Goat race is normally held at the peak of the dry season, And of course, there's always April showers, as we have heard about it since we have known ourselves. But I think the resolute and the will of the people, we have a strong organizing team. The village council has stepped up again, and we have the program planned, and we are going to execute today. And whether it rains or not, I foresee a day filled with fun, a lot of family vibes, a lot of social interactions. I think it will be a successful day, regardless.
Now, we're almost 100 years of doing this goat and crab races. Of course, there is some, we're not quite sure when it started, but we know it's been around for almost 100 years. Speak to us from that standpoint of being able to take this festival for this length of time and for have it to be such an important part of our culture and our events calendar.
Yeah, well, actually, it began like 97 years ago. It was brought here by Mr. Calendar. He's originally from Barbados. He was actually born in the 1800s. He came here and he brought the goat race to us. It was a way of the plantation class. Well, they had their
horse racing.
races.
Yeah.
And if you know Petit Trou Beach in Lambeau, that was famous for horse racing.
Yes.
Because that, when the tide is right, it just is back enough for you to get that space. And you could go to Petit Trou in Lambeau and see the potential. And of course, the average person created the goat race as an alternative. So you'll notice that the goat racers, they use jockeys, which of course they don't mount the animals, and they have their name tags and they wear the same pretty type shirts and so on. So it was a way of mimicking the horse races. However, it called for something special to keep an event alive for this length of time. And I must credit the people of Bucco Point. They have held on to the event and have executed over the years. It's not a perfect product as yet. Imagine, and I think that imperfection is born of the dynamism of time, because nothing is static. And so, look, today we present a whole new challenge, because as I said, I can't remember seeing a rainy day goat race at Bucco Point. So then, how we deal with today's challenges will set the pace for another level of growth in the event. So 97 years, we're celebrating 95, of course, because COVID took 2 years, but the event actually began 97 years ago, and this is promising to be a momentous time, because for the next 5 years, as a THA, we are planning to do some special things. One of the things we plan to do today, may I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
One of the things we plan to do today is to begin to honor the surviving pioneers of the goat race. And not just the surviving, well, of course, we'll give honor where it's due. Those who have passed on, somebody is going to receive a small token of appreciation today, which is the first part of a celebration that the Tobago House of Assembly is putting in place to commemorate, and it will lead right up to 100 years of goat racing. So that is part of the program today. We have a few guys in the 70s and 80s who were jockeys back 60 years ago, and they would be honored today in a special way at the program today. So we're looking good.
No, you know, this year has been a very interesting year for goats and crab races, well, specifically the goat races, because we saw all weekend there was even a goat race happening in Sherburne Road. That was being organized. Of course, they had the almost 50 years yesterday for the Mount Pleasant
yes, they are 49,
section. And so it seems as though it's being kept alive, but in different fractions.
Yes. Well, there is a Goat Owners Association, and the association is still putting its final structures together. But it has been successful also in holding some small meets during the year. They hold goat races when the cruise ships come in. Small presentations so that persons could understand and see, and you know, it's a source of income also for the guys in the association. So the association is there, and it is not necessarily reserved for Bucco alone or Mount Pleasant alone. I have the blessing of having, well, the third dispensation of which came onto Sherburne is also part of my district. So Bucco Mount Pleasant seems to be the real goat race destination in Tobago. So this growth or expansion is welcomed. I don't think anybody should limit the development of the sport. However, Bucco would remain like the Olympic stadium for goat racing in Tobago until something else happens. And as I said, everything is dynamic.
Yes.
Change, you can't stop change. So I'm not going to lay it on the table that this is how it will be forever. But we know for now, this today marks the Mecca and the real, and the goat jockeys, the owners. I have the pleasure of being around them as being around the association. And you wouldn't believe the kind of bragging rights that go down with this event. Go on.
Yes, I think we experienced some of that even like couple years ago. I just remembering like when we had the replay and everything there set up with the Tobago Updates crew.
Yes.
And just the goat owners descending in our tents,
Yes.
just being very, very attentive to what crossed that finish line first and who was still holding on to that rope at the end of it. It's pretty intense.
Yes, it's so intense. I was at Mount Pleasant yesterday and I saw one of the favorites. He fell and he got his shoulder injured and he had to be out for the day. And that was such a moment because I heard his the guy who owns the goat here is saying, listen, take care of yourself, forget about goat race for the day.
Yeah.
And I was privileged to be close to him after, and he was saying that even with his injury, he wanted to go back out there because the Pekong and the Guntog run for the entire year. And now we have come to this weekend and he can't compete again yesterday. And that's how intense the whole goat race thing is. Yeah.
And I want you to talk a little bit about just even the atmosphere because of course you were there yesterday for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
And just, I know both. Mount Pleasant is a little bit different from Buku.
Yes.
And both of them are special and very unique.
Yes.
So what for you does Mount Pleasant goat race represent?
I think there is more. There's more variety. There's more variety. You have young people who are training for athletics. They would come down there. There are nice races for age groups, male and female, from under 8 years old all the way up to over 35. So Mount Pleasant presents that. They also, when I was a child, Mount Pleasant had bodybuilding and all in the Goat Race Festival. They had cycling at a time. So they are different. The both events are different. And of course, because Buku comes on the final day, it garners a bigger crowd. Yeah. So they are both special in their own way. They are both unique, and I see where both events could grow. I'm seeing room for additional activities and even more variety, because when people begin to predict the day's program, that's when you know that you might start to lose some of your crowd.
Yes.
Because from the time before you leave home, you say, okay, well, by now they're doing this or they're doing that. And all I'm interested in is this part of the program, so I'm going to leave home just to attend this part of the program. It's that because it's predictable. So that predictability could be dealt with, and maybe we could get some more variety as we go ahead.
Certainly. And then, coming back to Buku, of course, which is what today is all about. Now, how do we make sure that, we're approaching 100 years. Now, we should be seeing, and I probably have this conversation every year, we should be seeing goat race stuff everywhere, the paraphernalia, the merchandise, but we don't ever see that. All we just know is you go to Buku on Easter Tuesday, and then you see the goats race and crab race, and that's about it. Why is it that after so long we still can't get that together, and we can't have it in a more official way, even when the Buku Village Council boasts about having the copyright and all of these other things, but you don't see them doing anything about it.
Right. And I can see that's an excellent point. However, from a THA perspective, one of the things we are shielding from a bit is to be the all and all of anything that happens in Tobago. Buku Goat Race didn't begin under state leadership. It began with the ordinary man. And I think that you are describing an opportunity for somebody to step forward. The THA, I don't think the THA is the one to step forward to take up all the different spin-off industries from Buku Goat Race. I think somebody in Buku, or it doesn't have to be from Buku, somebody could look at this. When you travel to foreign countries, sometimes you get back to the airport and you buy printed t-shirts, you buy braided hats and so on. These are not put in place by the state. These are people who see an opportunity and they explore the opportunity, and this becomes a way of making a living for them. And I think those who are listening, it is fair to say that we could, as a people, we need to put that type of innovative thinking into how we approach our daily lives, because we don't have to be limited to career choices that are popular or that run through the airwaves every day. You know, I mean, we could be in our own moment looking for ways to really explore possibilities. I was in business. I was in retail business, and before I went into business, I did the assessment. I saw what was happening in the area, and I saw what was missing, and I sought to provide a service based on what was missing. And that's an encouragement for anyone to jump in there. And the THA stands ready to support, right? People's expectation of the THA sometimes could be a bit high, but when you do the research and you see our real purpose, we will back you, we will support you, we will help to create markets for you. But it is always best when the average man steps forward and explores ideas for growth, yeah?
But the THA has been supporting the goat races.
Of course.
I mean, actually, a lot of the funding for the Buku Village Council comes from the THA.
Yes.
So then at what point do they get held accountable for what they are able to do? Because, I mean, at this point, 100 years, they should be able to stand on their feet.
Well, this is the second year I am being involved with the village council. The first year I came to office, that was Taste of Buku, if you remember, and that was a THA initiative, basically, to keep the art form alive. I've been having conversations with the president of the village council, and based on the structures in place, he agrees, and we have concurred that we need to wean not just Buku, but a lot of different arms of this nature from total dependence on the THA. Of course, it's not total, sorry, but most of the funding comes from the THA. And we need to understand as an island that this is not the best way to do things. It's not the best way, because the more funds the state puts into these programs, without necessarily looking for the return, the matching return. As I told you, I was in business, and you don't spend $1 unless you know where the return is coming from. It might not come back directly to you. The return might come in showers, basically, in the community. And the community learns and grows as they learn to be more self-sufficient. Some people would say we are paying taxes and all the money of the state belongs to us, so why not use it back on us and our programs? But how much more could be done if these funds are redirected in other areas for growth and development? So sometimes that job you're looking for from the government, it's just something is debatable, but that job you're looking for or that development you're expecting from the government, you don't always get it because of funding constraints. So whenever funds come to Tobago, and we know that there's a deliberate attempt to underfund Tobago, I don't know if you know, but I'm saying it, there's a deliberate attempt to underfund Tobago. Therefore, as funds come into the island, it is critical that we are prudent with the monies and that we get the best out of the monies. So the president is on board, and I imagine if the leader is on board, the team is on board, which is the village council. And I'm praying that before I leave office, when am I leaving office? I don't know. But before I leave office, this is one of the objectives I have, to make Buku Goat Race a self-sustainable event.
How much support did they receive from the THA this year?
I can't give that figure now. I know it's above $180,000. It's above, so I'm being guided. Based on the documentation I've seen, there is support not just in cash but in kind, because for conversation's sake, it must be understood the facility is owned by the THA, so there is nothing is free. So if the THA offers the facility to the village council to execute the program, that is a cost. There's a cost attached that might not necessarily be transferred in dollars and cents, but it must be documented as a cost to the event. And apart from that, there's a street parade which is coordinated from the Division of Culture, right? That happens at 10 o'clock this morning. So we have, apart from these kinds of contributions to the event, there is also requests for prizes and so on, and special races and so on. So the contribution is upward of $180,000. Yeah, I can't give you the exact figure at this time.
Now, you mentioned that the president of the village council is actually been willing to do the things necessary to wean the village council of the THA funding and so on. Have you seen any measures this year to put some of that into motion, and what are those measures?
Sadly, I was not in the nitty-gritty planning of the event this year. The multiplicity of responsibilities sometimes, and so I've been dealing with him basically one-on-one. I've been able to sit in maybe just one meeting with the village council. So I can't answer you from a point of knowledge basically. But after this event, I plan to be a part of the audit to look at expenditure versus income and to see where the changes could be made. I think one of the challenges we have is that you have a product, and the product is in demand determine price. So you have a gate entry fee, you have other little ways of making monies, the concession booths and so on. We need to be able to ascertain, well, look, now this is simple business mathematics. This event will cost us, just for conversation's sake, $400,000, and how do we gather that back and still get a profit to continue? Basic business. And I think sometimes the real decisions to be made are not necessarily popular. But then again, if you have to raise the price of your ticket to enter the event, then the product must be able to justify the raise. Yeah?
Or you have multiple different things.
Streams of income, right, beautiful.
At the event to be able to, capture money in different ways.
That's right. So it's a family type event. That's the intention. I said intention because, we had a blunder maybe 2 years ago when this young lady came to sing to close the show, and she was not the best thing for a family type event. So because it's a family type event, now we have the merry-go-round, we have bouncy castles, we have all these little things that these suppliers, they would pay to the village council to be able to operate in this space. So there are other ways, I imagine, that funds could be raised, because the village of Bucco Point has a lot to offer. On the day, there's the option of making a reef tour a part of the celebration. You could do a morning tour. All I know, you could be on the reef, and there are a lot of little nice things Bucco Point has to offer. So the options are there, but we must look at it from a business perspective to be able to correctly define where additional funds could be made and where expenditure could be cut. And of course, basic business. I think that it could become financially viable.
What about the relationship between the village council and the villagers, the community themselves, to make sure that, everybody really is on board, and there is that cohesion in making sure that we use the best people, and it's not just biased utilization of people and so on?
That is something that would be, it might be subject to perception, because from where I sit, the villagers support the event. There's no question about that. Until I sit at that point, maybe in the review, we might be able to see if this is in fact the case, that in fact that there is some kind of what is that? There's a word for that, tribalism, where groups, or there are factions within. I wouldn't comment on that now, because I cannot comment from a position of information or data. I don't have the data to support that. I know the villagers support the event. I know they are proud of the event. And should the village council in their execution be bipartisan or so, I think that would be revealed. That will be revealed as we go forward. But from here and now, I wouldn't be able to say conclusively that is the case.
And then, of course, in terms of the Goat Owners Association and getting them together to be a stronger organization, so that goat racing can be held at the same level as horse racing in Trinidad.
And that's a very good point. The goat owners, we are all Tobago people, and There are times I've met with the association and I've seen, members display differences of opinion. However, in every organization, that will happen. But if it happens to the extent that it hampers the growth of the organization, then we have a serious challenge. So I'm working with a very willing president, that's Mr. Deary, and he has around him some very experienced men around him. I've been able to identify areas where I think that he needs to make some adjustments, and he's willing to make those adjustments. The THE, as I'm suggesting, as I said earlier, stand ready to support and to back any initiative on the island that lends to the growth of the island and basic challenges we have on the island, creating employment. And Tobago is becoming an island, or it has already become an island of festivals. It's Blue Food Festival, it's Go Trace Festival, and of course, I brought one to Booker Point since I've been here called Swim Fest. It's a festival of swimming. So all these ideas could grow and expand, but there is a need for teamwork. And in Tobago, one of our great challenges remain that sometimes we could be fighting against each other unnecessarily. I think we need to revert or return to the point where the saying, all are we are one family. I think that needs to stay and stay at the bedrock of how we approach things, right? The greatest little island will not be built by a divisive society. It have to be a society where everybody is focused on one goal and accomplishing something. So we will disagree, but at the end of the day, we will move forward. So the Go Trace Association is working. I'm not impressed that we are where we should be as an association. I'm saying we because I'm at the table with the conversation with them right now. But I'm confident that we'll get there. I feel positive that we'll get there.
No, we're not quite done with you, Mr. Craigie. But we're going to go for a break and we'll be right back. So viewers, please don't go anywhere.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning, right? No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me.
And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I run in town again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home. Home.
We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in we DNA.
It's March Madness at Standard. Distributors Limited. Get $100 back for every $1,000 you spend. Major appliance deals on Frigidaire, Hyacinth, Samsung, and more. Plus, same-day financing options available. Don't miss out. Sale ends March 31st. Standard. Never beaten on quality and prices.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know And once again, they better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show. More, live more.
Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation with the Assemblyman for Buku Mount Pleasant, Mr. Sonny Craig, as we discuss what is to come today. Now, of course, you know it's Easter Tuesday. It is Buku goat and crab races. So, of course, that's the only place where you need to be today. But what can we expect for today? I know that there are some surprises in store.
Yes, our corporate sponsors have been generous. We have giveaways, especially for children and so on. And I know people like giveaways, but these are good giveaways. We have some of our main sponsors doing some giveaways today. Of course, there is also the delicacies that come with Buku Goat Race, yeah? And you could be a part of wherever your choice is, wherever your taste buds lead you. So it promises to be an exciting day today. What else could I tell you? The awarding of the pioneers is big today.
Tell me about some of those people that we are recognizing.
All right, fine. I must start with Mr. Calendar. I think Samuel is his first name. Calendar came out of Barbados in the 1800s, actually. And he lived to a ripe old 97. He died in 1986. And as a youth, he was part of he was really the pivotal person in starting goat race in Tobago. Goat races were not always in Buku Point. So when we honor his memory, it is not because of what he did in Buku alone. Goat race was in Patience Hill at a point in time. It was in Bon Accord. And even right in the village of Buku Point, it was in different streets within the village. Gala Trace, Battery Street, Chan Street. And until this facility was built. So it was on the move all the time. So we want to honor his memory. I think someone from one of his descendants would be there to receive on his behalf. Right from the village of Buku Point, there is Mr. Sonny Murray. Sonny Murray is one of those guys who, I think he just crossed over 70, but he devoted his time to ensuring that the goat race tradition continues. You'll appreciate that he was able to be working along with Samuel Calendar in those early years, because when he died at 86, Sonny Murray was in the game since the 60s, so there was an interlapping of the different people. Coming out of Buku Point, we have Mr. Michael Anthony. We call him Mr. Mikey. I had the pleasure of interacting with him as a child. I think he's about almost 90 now, about there. But when we took care of animals in the estate, he had the largest flock of sheep in the estate. And sometimes when my sheep go missing, I just went straight to Mr. Mikey's pen, because most time your ram sheep go missing, you have to look for where the most ewes are. So yes, you go straight to Buku Point, and most time you'll get it, bring it back home. So I knew Mr. Mikey from a primary school child at Buku Point Government School. And apart from him, there are some guys from Canaan, the Potts, Joseph, and some others from Mount Pleasant. There is Mr. Clark, right? George Clark is his name. I think his son is the one who calls the races at the goat racing now. You would hear the voice of somebody calling the race is very professional, soft-spoken, and and they're off. And as you're coming down the track, and you hear the voice, and that's the son of one of the original pioneers of the goat race festival. So they'll be honored today, and we're hoping that things work out smoothly. I think of the 9 pioneers being remembered today or honored, we have actually 4 or 5 of them alive, and the others will, of course, it's just in memory of them because they have passed on. Later on in the year, we are hoping to name some of the stands after some of these guys. We had intentions of doing it earlier, but we are getting some snags from the protocol and the ebb and flow of government service and how things are approved and so on. The more I do this job, the more I understand that every time there are challenges in the system, there are new layers of protection that needs to be put in place. So recently, with the recent passing of the procurement legislation, things that you want to do and might have happened in a quick space of time, now there are more checks and balances because persons who have gone before have taken advantage of loose spaces in the protection of government funding and so on. So we are in a position now where we have to do things more thoroughly, and consequently we were not able to execute everything. But that might be a blessing from Almighty God, because now we are staged to do the next 5 years, rolling out more and more goodies in memory of those who started the Buku Goat Race and continue to work, because there are areas that we need to touch, like the greatest jockeys. Now, if you go among these same young men and these owners and jockeys and you ask to describe greatness, I was amazed when they could come together and say, yes, this fella, he's one of the best jockeys we ever saw. But then we have fellas from this generation, we have guys from 20, 40, 60 years ago, so we need to honor these people. And the fact that we are approaching 100 years, I think it's worth the effort, and we not try to put everything into this one event today, but we're going to spread it out over the next 5 years so everybody is recognized and nobody slips through the cracks as we go forward.
What about documenting the history of the Buku Goat races? Because I mean, somebody would write an article, might not be from here, they talk to some people and they publish information, and somebody pops up, oh no, that's not how it is, and whatnot. But then the question is, where is the documented evidence? I mean, I know that it was one of those things that the Buku Village Council talked about for many, many times that they were going to do, but they never ever did it. And it's perhaps one of their failures for never putting that into place, never documenting it in any kind of a real way about the history and recognizing these people. So, I mean, while it is great to recognize them at this event, but then where is even the museum for how to display and to teach people, teaching visitors the real history about it?
Yes, and this is where the Chief Secretary and myself, this is where the conversation has led to this honoring of these guys, right?
So it was the THA's move to honor and not the village council. That's interesting.
Yes. So the Chief Secretary spoke to it on 2 occasions already, and we thought we should start this year, right? And we are starting, and we are going to do what we have to do. Now, the teams that I'm putting together, working along with the Goat Owners Association, we are looking at also getting that documentation in place. There is a wide range of resource we could access, meaning mostly surviving icons. And what I did in coming up with the 9 people for this particular session today is there's a word you use in when you're going for your masters, where you cross-check information. That word slipping me, but that's all right. But you talk to different people and get consensus. And so I think we did the research, and persons who might think that somebody critical was left out this year, bear in mind we're going for the next 5 years honoring icons of Buku Goat Race in this instance. From next year, Mount Pleasant will be doing 50 years. I think their research and presentations would be easier, because a lot of people in the village council were around when the very first one was held. So Mount Pleasant will have it a bit easier. But in the case of Buku, with 95 years to consider, we thought it more prudent not to seek to put everything into one event, but make it a process of honoring. So by the time the 5 years has elapsed, I think we would have gotten everybody covered.
And then, but again, what about the museum? Because a part of that construction of that big facility was there to have a museum, so that throughout the year you could earn some bit of revenue displaying just the history of goat racing and so on.
Well, as I said, the facility is a THA facility, basically. And that is part of what we're doing. There's a part of it now with some information, mostly picture records. And,
but is that accessible? Because
yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. I think when you're coming into the event this evening, there's a part where there's a whole picture gallery that you could take a look at what happened over the years. But of course, there is need for fine-tuning. There is need for documentation. We should have
making that more interactive, because I mean, you can have a few pictures there, but museums have gone far and beyond now, using technology in such a great way to bring that history alive.
One of the things I have people who work as part of my staff who are looking to see if we could find the footage, whether video or whatever format it comes in, and see if we can start to pull it together. So it has to be it's a major project, and I'm looking forward to working with some of the young brilliant people from Buku Point especially, to put them in a position where they could become the ones who are really spearheading the research to bring the package together. So when we're naming the stands, when that time shall have come, we would have, of course, just as we have these historical boards around the island, we'll be able to do the historical presentation, photographs and so on of these icons and so on. Buku Point has a lot of history.
Yes, it does.
From ships that wrecked on the reef and guys that were instrumental in making the reef operation what it is today. We're trying to restore Buku as the place where you have an option to board a boat to go to the reef. It's Buku Reef. Why not go from Buku? That's of course an option. No harm meant to Secretary Sampson, because we know in his district of Crown Point a lot of people access the reef from there, but it need not be only on one side of the island, but we could do it from Buku Point also. And with the reef, with the cruise ships coming, the cruise ships pilot their persons intending to go to the reef through Buku. So that is being restored gradually, and we're seeing more Buku people getting back into the construction of reef boats and so on. So what we have is we have a lot of promise. I know there are things still to be done, and the will is there. I think we are resolute in getting it done, and with my team, I'm thinking that we will be able to restore a lot of the data and so on.
Now, I want to touch a little bit even on, there's some of that controversy with the boardwalk and even where that sign is positioned. I know we even talked about that sign on a previous occasion, because, I mean, it is basically where the fishermen are operating on, and it is a juggling act when visitors come, and some fellas cleaning some fish right there and so on. So, I mean, what's a plan to improve that area?
All right, okay. Now we see, well, as you said recently, a lot of talk came into the space concerning the boardwalk.
Yes.
I made my observations even before he did his videos, and I realized that the material was not the best. There are some screws they used for cupboard construction, which were part of the restraining or strengthening the jobs. So I knew that it couldn't stand, because we call them drywall screws. They are not for outdoor sea blast type environments. So I knew the boardwalk was not built with the best material. The slabs that are on the floor, that are on the walkway, that actually make up the boardwalk where you're walking on board, apparently they were not cured properly.
No, they were not.
And so as a consequence, as they cured over time, they warped and it became twisted, so people walking and stumbling on them. The concept of the boardwalk was a good one. I'll give that. However, it was not done properly. And in repairing, we have to seek to set things in a space or in a way where it's sustainable and it could work for a longer period of time. The sign on the jetty, It was not the best place in my opinion, right? But persons in the community might be happy to have it there. So the conversation is still ongoing, and I love Buku is a good thing to say and to see. I love Buku, and it's a nice place to take your pictures and so on. I've been speaking to Division of Agriculture Secretary Natisha Charles Panton, and we are seeking to restore the area where there was an area reserved where there's a fishery space close to the facility where you normally used to buy fish in the past. The challenge is when you moor your boat at the jetty, to move your fish from the jetty to that space is not it's a kind of, listen to me, in most villages you come ashore, you carry a total fish from your boat to the facility. Where this one is, and that's a short distance from the beach. Like if you take Studley Park as an example, Studley Park is, you come ashore and the building is right there. In Buku Point, you come onto the jetty, you have to load the fish on a pickup and drive around to another space. So we need to deal with that. The logistics of that is not the best. So the fishermen, after you do a whole day of fishing, you come into the jetty and you take your fish off the boat. If you could sell it right there, it's convenient. So there's a conversation of maybe a mooring point closer to where they are supposed to sell the fish. And should they be able to moor their boats closer to there, then you just come out your boat, take the fish to the counter, clean and cut up and sell. So there's some adjustments. There are adjustments to be made. Where that action is happening, where they're cleaning the fish and guest boarding the boat and so on, it is just a stopgap. But we need to be decisive and do what has to be done to create the ambience you need for guests boarding a boat to go to the reef and so on.
And hopefully any other improvements are well thought out.
Of course.
But what is it costing the THA to redo the boardwalk?
I wouldn't know. At this point, we're using the URP gangs, right? And they are professionals. The guy who made the tape is bragging about his knowledge of the job. That is something that is being done in-house. A challenge we have to deal with is that many people are looking forward to the THA to get contracts to fix Tobago, right? In the case of the previous administration, they sought every opportunity to give contracts to get things done. So we will have a situation where we have gangs and professionals hired by the THA to do specific jobs, but they are left seated in base or at the roadside relaxing while a contractor does the job that they were hired to do. We're trying to fix that. So we have a situation now where we have the professionalism, we have the craftsmen, the artisans within the division, more specifically in the URP, they came out. So the cost to the THA basically was to get the material, in this case teak, right? And to pay these guys what they were hired to do. At the end of the process, I'll be able to get the figures, maybe by the next time I come back here. But we were talking goat race, I didn't really bring boardwalk figures to the conversation. So we're looking.
Well, it's part of the Buku experience that people are going to have today.
So I think EID was involved in the whole doing the estimates and so on. But I think the cost would be negligible compared to what it was before to build the boardwalk.
And then what are the improvements that are happening alongside the beach? Because now that beach, that Buku beach, is one of the most popular beaches in Tobago. Everybody goes there now.
Yes. And since I've been in office, which is more than 2 years, even before I got elected, persons in the community were concerned about the beach and the movement of having so many different vendors setting up what they feel constitutes a nice retail outlet on the beach. And this is something that we are looking at as a THA to see if we could create the ideal type of retail outlets for this kind of environment, something tropical, something relaxing, something aesthetically pleasing, nice to look at, and you feel happy and comfortable. The area is also a one-way in, one-way out, and on a crowded day, should there be an emergency on the beach, we would have a serious challenge. So we need to look at all that, maybe create the roadways and so on. The research is on. We are looking at negotiating with the owners of the property bordering the Buku Beach and maybe having to work out something to find the best result. It is not where it should be, I admit that, and we need to do something. The development plan, we're trying to preserve the trees. As fate would have it, the beach is littered with manchineel trees.
Yes.
The manchineel trees are critical to the survival of the beach. Without the trees, the ocean will do what it like. So, if we are to remove the manchineel trees, remove is not the word, we may have to replace them, right?
But it's what you will replace them with, because it has to be something that can
an indigenous
work.
species, yes. So sea grapes work beautifully, and the manchineel is just on a section. Further down the beach, there are other species which do the job. So then there are options. It doesn't have to be manchineel, but if the manchineel is so dangerous, if you're using a chainsaw and the milk goes on you, it's a problem. Even when you're cutting a dry, rotten manchineel tree, the dust from a dry, rotted tree is infectious.
So in other words, I mean, this is also something that is a process. It's not something that can be done right away in increments.
And there are a lot of things that the change would carry with it a cost. The change would definitely carry with it a cost. So we need to be costing these things, and everything is done in the context of releases from central government and whether or not they want Tobago to grow the way the Tobago people want it to grow. Because simply by virtue of electing us to office, the people have bought into our vision. But if central government has not bought into our vision, they are going to stymie our operations and try to restrain us from getting funds and so on to do things. So we have a balancing act to do, but I am happy that we are delivering. The people are seeing delivery, and we're going to continue to focus and get the job done.
And of course, well, today the whole focus is on Buku goat races.
Yes, so
so we're getting ready to head down soon. We started with the parade, and then of course the goat races and the crab races will kick off.
Yes.
For a day of fun in Buku.
That's what it is. So it was a pleasure being here today.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Mr. Craig.
Always a pleasure having conversations with you, Miss Jackson. All right.
Certainly. All right. So, well, viewers, that's it for this morning. I want to thank you for joining us. And if you're heading on to Buku, please be safe. And, well, we'll see what happens today. Hopefully the rain holds up. But that's fine. And maybe, as the years go on, maybe we can see some serious improvements with the way that we organize the Buku and crab races, so it isn't just a small village thing, but it is something of prominence. so thank you so much, our viewers. Have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.